The world of Freddy Fazbear and Friends just keeps expanding. It never ends. More animatronics, locations, lore, and children who meet their unfortunate demise, possess animatronics, and go on a bloodthirsty rampage. And while I'm pretty sure the new game excites all you die-hard FNAF lore enthusiasts, we will be focusing more on things you need to know about playing this game for this video. We'll only touch on the story and lore just a little bit, but we'll let the experts handle the deep dives and theories. So, for now, here's everything you need to know about Five Nights at Freddy's Secret of the Mimic. You are hired by Fazbear Entertainment to head into Murray's costume manor to extract technology that someone named Edwin Murray was making for the company, which turns out to be the Mimic.
It's a kind of prototype endoskeleton that can adapt to any costume and become any character.
And of course, you gotta be careful doing so because 1, it's malfunctioning, and 2, attempting to retrieve it in that state could lead to death or dismemberment. They'll also tell you to get your affairs in order before you start your job. You know, just in case. Sounds like they've hired people before, but failed. Classic Freddy fun. Not much is revealed in the trailers as of writing, but bits in the trailer and the demo, a VR version that was available to play during PAX West 2024, show gameplay similar to Security Breach, which is more of a first-person exploration rather than the classic stationary point-and-click. You will be exploring the abandoned costume manor, trying to find the Mimic, as well as discovering the mysteries behind the said animatronic, its creation, and the history of its reclusive inventor, Edwin Murray. The manor seems to be designed like a maze, complete with environmental hazards, secret passages, and remnants of Edwin Murray's unfinished work. And of course, you'll have to find ways to try and make it out alive. From what we can gather in the trailers, you have gadgets, motion detectors, signal disruptors, or light-based devices you can use to distract or maybe even manipulate the Mimic's behavior. In true FNAF fashion, the devices could have extremely limited uses or charges, so you'll be forced to use them strategically. Aside from the exploration feature, puzzles will likely play a significant role in progressing the game. Expect rewiring circuits, decoding messages, operating or handling certain objects to unlock new areas in the manor, and uncovering more about Edwin Murray's sinister creations. Now, what about the Mimic? This is the game's central character, hyping up to be rather difficult to face, unlike our usual Fazbear cast. Freddy Fazbear, Chica, Bonnie, and the other animatronics we're familiar with have set patterns that can be learned easily. The Mimic is said to have the ability to adapt and change into any character, including what you fear the most, according to the description in Steam. With that, we speculate that the game could learn the player's habits and could have the Mimic adapt to different playstyles to make the experience more challenging. Either that, or there will be different rooms where the Mimic will take on a different form each time, and you'll just have to figure out which it will be. Steelwool Studios uploaded 3 videos on their YouTube channel weeks after the Secret of the Mimic trailer. These videos look like old 50s or 60s infomercials, advertising some of Edwin Murray's creations. The Stay Up Latte makes coffee perfectly suited for anyone and can keep you awake all night. Murray's magic coat rack can hold anything: coats, hats, pots, pans, pets, even you. And the marvelous Cleanovac that can adjust its size to fit anywhere to suck everything up, from the biggest messes to the tiniest crumbs. And all 3 videos have this in their description. Recovered footage from the archive of the inventor Edwin Murray, digitally restored for archival purposes. Being Edwin Murray's creations, we think that the Mimic could show up as one of them. Thanks Scott Cawthon and Steelwool Studios, at least we're slightly prepared for what we're about to face in Murray's costume manor. The Mimic was first introduced in Five Nights at Freddy's Tales from the Pizzaplex novel anthology series. Specifically, the 3rd story in issue number 6, Nexi, published on May 2, 2023. The Mimic is seen again in the Ruined DLC of Security Breach. Could the story from the DLC be connected to this game? Possibly, but the question is, will it be a prequel or a sequel? As said earlier, you are hired to retrieve the Mimic, as it was technology created by Edwin Murray for Fazbear Entertainment, and they want it real bad. But in the Tales from the Pizzaplex anthology, it's said that Murray created the Mimic in the 70s to look after his 4-year-old son, David, since he would be too busy working for Fazbear Entertainment. He programmed the Mimic to have the ability to adapt and mimic what it observed. Upon activation, the animatronic mimicked everything his son did. So now, David has a friend and Edwin can focus more on his work. Yay? Yeah, we all know this isn't going to end well. Noticing that the mimic also learns and acts out negative traits that David expresses, Edwin Murray tinkers with the animatronic in hopes of learning and teaching how to calm David down. However, not long after the update, David gets run over by a white van and is killed on the spot, leaving Edwin with nothing but heartbreak and a lot of self-hatred. One night, the mimic approaches Edwin to ask for ice cream exactly the way David does. Fueled with his sadness and anger, he takes a metal rod and beats the mimic up until he loses all his strength, and is filled with regret. He is too late, however, because the mimic then ran away. The mimic seems to have found its way to an abandoned Fazbear factory, possibly the Costume Manor. Since it was known to be abandoned, Fazbear Entertainment has hired workers to clean it up. Instead, they are faced with the battered remains of the mimic. And we know that the mimic is programmed to adapt everything it observes. It seems to have adapted Edwin's anger and murderous rage from the beating he experienced with him. So upon seeing the workers, it just does what it knows and goes on a murderous rampage. Which is probably where we could be now at the secret of the mimic, since we'll be searching for it in Murray's Costume Manor instead of the Mega Pizzaplex in the Security Breach DLC. But again, we won't be delving too deep into theories. So all we can do now is wait until the game releases on June 13 to know about where we are, when we are, and what mystery lies behind Edwin Murray and the Mimic. And that's all we have for you today. What are you excited to uncover about in the FNAF lore? Who's your favorite animatronic? Don't be afraid to share it in the comments below. If you want more video game goodness, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel so you'll be notified when a new video is up. This is Hex, and thank you for watching. See you next time.